Hello and welcome to day number 192. My name is Mary, and today's story is called Cyrus Proclamation. We have seen, we have seen how the great empire of Assyria ruled all the lands and carried the 10 tribes of Israel into captivity, from which they never came back to their own land. We saw too how the empire of Assyria fell and the empire of Babylon rose in its place under Nebuchadnezzar. As soon as Nebuchadnezzar died, the empire of Babylon began to fall, and in its place arose the empire of Persia under Cyrus the Great. His empire was much greater than either the Assyrian or the Chaldean empire, for it ruled Egypt, all the lands known as Asia Minor, and also many lands in the Far East. Cyrus was a friend to the Jews, who at this time were still living in the lands of Chaldea. Between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, it had been 70 years since the first company of captives had been taken away from Judah by Nebuchadnezzar, and 50 years since the city of Jerusalem had been burnt. Now, the Jews were no longer looked on as captives in the land of Chaldea. They lived in their own houses, tilled their own farms, and were at peace. Many of them were rich, and some of them, like Daniel and his 3 friends, held high places in the court of the king. You remember that in the early days of captivity, Jeremiah the prophet wrote a letter to those who had been carried away to Babylon, telling them that after 70 years they would come back to their own land. The 70 years were now over. The older men and women who had been taken away had died in the land of Chaldea, but their children and their children's children still loved the land of Judah as their own land, although it was far away. The Lord put it into the heart of Cyrus, the king of Persia, to issue the following proclamation. Thus says Cyrus, the king of Persia, the Lord, the God of heaven, has given me all the kingdoms of the earth, and he has commanded me to build him a house in Jerusalem, in the land of Judah. Therefore, let those of the people of God who are among you go up to Jerusalem and help to build the house of the Lord. And those who do not go to Jerusalem, but stay in the places where they are living, let them give to those who go back to their own land gifts of gold and silver, and beasts to carry them, and goods, and also a free gift toward the building of the house of the Lord in Jerusalem. So the Jewish people prepared to go back to their own land. Those who were rich and noble in rank stayed in the land of Chaldea and other lands of the Persian Empire. But though they did not go back to the land from which their fathers had come. They gave large gifts of gold and silver to help those who did go. Cyrus took all the vessels of the temple that had been taken away by Nebuchadnezzar and gave them to the Jews to be used in the new temple they were to build. These were plates, dishes, bowls, and cups of gold and silver, more than 4,000 in all. So, with the gifts of the king and the gifts of their own people, and what was owned by those who went to the land of Judah, the company took away a vast treasure of gold and silver. And that was the word of the Lord. Now we come to our discussion questions. Number 1, how did King Cyrus treat the Jews? How did King Cyrus treat the Jews? Number 2, how long had the Jews been in Babylon? How long had the Jews been in Babylon? Number 3, why did some of the Jews go back to Jerusalem? What did God want them to do there? Number 3, and that's the last question, have 2 parts to it. The first part says, why did some of the Jews go back to Jerusalem? And the second part of number 3 says, what did God want them to do there? And that was the end of our day number 192. It's good to have you with me today. May God bless us all. Until next time. Bye-bye for now.